Hey everybody, Miss Peg, and here with a worksheet called Graph Equations. You'll see up on the screen. You should have one of these to follow along. We're going to jump right into it. If you're in class, follow along. If you are just watching online, you can find in the, link below or description below where to find this worksheet if you'd like to work along with us. Okay, jumping right in. The directions tell us to review graphing equations. It doesn't actually tell us to do anything, so those are actually terrible directions. We're actually going to go in and talk about what each of these are. Everything on here you should be able to know how to do as far as graphing linear equations. Linear equations, like that word says, line, are equations create a straight line in some direction. Okay, so when we look at the coordinate plane here, we see this grid, and what this is it's broken up into 4 quadrants, the 4 regions of the coordinate plane. So when you see your y-axis like this and your x-axis intersect, they create 4 blocks. So quadrant 1 is here, quadrant 1. And in quadrant 1, all of your numbers are positive, okay, because you're going forward on your x-axis and you're going up on your y-axis. That's why this says a plus and a plus. Everything here in this region is going to be a plus and a plus. That looks really bad. Okay, so over here at quadrant 2, actually is going to the left of quadrant 1. So normally we like to see things moving forward or moving up when we think about positive numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4 progressively. But here there is a definite order. So quadrant 1 is in the top right corner. Quadrant 2 goes to the left, so we're moving counterclockwise, which is the opposite of a clock, backwards. Okay? So in quadrant 2, what would you expect the x and y coordinates to be? So our x is going to go from the origin here backwards, and backwards is negative. And then, that's really bad how my pen is working terribly. Let's clear that. So we're going to go backwards, and then we're going to go up. So that's a plus and a minus in quadrant 2. It's going to go a minus in your x area and a plus in your y area. I'm actually doing terrible because I have not used this pen in a very long time and it's so super sensitive. That's funny. Okay, so let me erase this mess here. I want you to think ahead. Quadrant 3 and quadrant 4, what would those look like for your x and your y values? Well, first I'm going to come over here to quadrant 3. From the origin, I'm going backwards on the x, so I'm going toward negative x, and I'm also going down towards negative y. So quadrant 3 is going to be negative, negative, which is actually the exact opposite of quadrant 1. And then you would see here that quadrant 2 and 4 are opposites. So I know that from the origin, moving forward in the positive x direction, so plus, and then going down in the negative y direction, so to be a minus. And actually your origin can be found at what point? So let's go back. So if we were here, I'm not moving up or down anywhere. I'm at 0, 0. I'm not going anywhere. So that's a review of the quadrants themselves. And so let's go forward looking at now plotting points. Again, this should all be review. You should know how to do each of these things. But it's important to be able to go over them, because without that we won't be able to go forward into the work for the week. So plotting points, here we go. When you are plotting points, you're plotting your x value and your y value. So use the x coordinate to go left and right, that's horizontally, and then the y to go up and down. Okay? Now, when it says here plot the following points 2 and 5. When I plot 2 and 5, I'm going to start at my origin at 0, and I'm going to go positive 2 because it's a positive number here, and then I'm going to go up 5. I'm going to stay at that 2. That's my first stop, and from that stop I go on to my y coordinate. So from here, I'm going to go up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put a point, and I'm going to label that point A because this was point A. Check off that I did that one. Now, letter B, choice B, so here's my x value is 0, and my y value is -3. So on x, I'm going to go 0. So many times students get tricked up by this. If x is 0, do I move forward or do I move backward? Actually, you move nowhere. Stay right there. 0 means nowhere, nothing. So I'm going to stay at 0. That's my first stop. And my next stop is -3 for my y value or coordinate. So how do I show -3? I'm going to go down 3. So from 0, I'm going to go down 1, down 2, and down 3. I'm going to put my dot there, and I'm going to call that point B. That's my label because that's that one right there. Check. Done. Okay, 2 more. So point C actually starts with a negative number, -4. So that means I'm always going to start at the origin. That's the original place to go. Origin, original. And I'm going to go -4 first. So actually I'm going to go backwards because x comes first. So I'm going to go backwards 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold that spot. That's my first stop. Now I have to go on to my y value or my y coordinate. So from -4, I either can go up or down. So here I have a 2, which is not negative, it's positive, so I'm just going to go up 2. 1, 2, make a point, and what do I label that one? You got it, point C. And the last one, try that one on your own. Let me give you a moment to plot point D. It has a 3 in the x position and a 0 in the y. Think about what happened when we were labeling point B. I'm going to give you just a second to figure that one out. Okay, so now D would be here. So I'm going to start at my original spot. That's my origin, original. And my x value is 3, and that's positive, so I'm going to go forward 3. 1, 2, 3. However, my y position now, it says 0, so I'm going to go nowhere. I cannot go up or down, so it's actually just on the x-axis is point D. Got that one? Great. Now, just for a little hint here, this one where it's on the x-axis is called the x-intercept, and that's how I write that in. That's funny. And then on the y-axis right here, point B is on the y line. That's called the y-intercept. I just wrote y-int. Because I am a math teacher, I don't like always having to write it all out. I just want to give the abbreviations. Y-intercept, x-intercept. Okay, quick interruption we had there. I had to pick up my lunch from the front office, I was called. So, here we go. On the next part of this, let me get rid of the information that we have here so far, clear our screen, scroll down, and let's see what we're at. If you are going further down this page, there's a reason I'm not going too fast. I want you to really comprehend what's going on each of these pages, looking at the directions and what needs to happen so you can become familiar with what is being asked of you. So part 3 says graphing a function and identifying the range. Well, the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to graph this function. Okay? So here, the x numbers are your domain because x means domain or input in a function. When I put in -2, what do I get out? So this is called a function table where you put this one in, you perform this. You put in -2, you perform this rule, and then you get an answer, like a recipe. So, number 2, -2, and if the rule says y equals 2x minus 1, then where the x is, you're actually going to put in this number 2, okay, instead of x. We're substituting. So in order to do that, I'm going to say 2 times x. Well, 2 times x in this case, let's get to writing here. So 2 times x in this case is going to be 2 times -2. All right, Well, what is 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. So if the total of these, the product of these actually, is negative 4, and we still have to do a step called minus 1, so we have negative 4 minus 1. If you are not good with positive and negative numbers, you really got to brush up on that. That is a 7th grade skill. And here, so we have negative 4 minus 1. I like to say minus minus stays minus. Keep going in the minus direction, so your answer will be negative 5. The way we write a complete ordered pair here, we need an x and a y, create an ordered pair. So my x was negative 2. Don't have to think much about it because it's given to me. And my y is negative 5. Did have to think about it because I had to do the math in order to get there. Negative 5. The way that would look over here is I'd come over. This is my x and my y. So again, starting at the original spot or origin. My x tells me I'm going to go backwards 2. Boom. And then am I going to go up or down? In this case, I'm going to go down 5. Oops, down 5. Move away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's this line. That's that point marked. Okay? So I'm going to do this one here for negative 1, and you are going to do the rest and complete the graphing, and then you're going to connect the dots to form a straight line. Again, we're working with linear equations, means they make a line. So here, negative 1 is my x or domain name, domain number. So I'm going to come here, negative 2 to negative 1. I said domain name because I'm working on the websites all the time in my business at home. So I always have domain name and domain of a function kind of intertwined and mixed up there. Inside nerd joke. Okay, so 2 times negative 1 is negative 2, and negative 2 minus 1, again, so I can finish out this problem, negative, negative stays negative, keep going in that negative direction, is negative 3. So my ordered pair becomes negative 1, comma, negative 3, where this is my x value, this is my y value. Those are also called coordinates. Let's go back to my original spot, start at the origin, and I'm going to go backward and down. Again, backwards 1, down 3, because they're both negative. So quick bonus, what quadrant am I in? Well, if this is quadrant 1, and they go counterclockwise backwards, it's quadrant 2, quadrant 3. Great. All right, well, that's it for me. Finish this paper out. You need to do those, graph the rest of this. Assuming our line, hopefully you're going to get numbers that fall somewhere onto that line. So if your dots don't fall on that line, go back and check your work. You may or may not have completed it properly. So that's it for me signing off. As we go through the rest of this sheet, let's see what's further down that you may have to complete that you don't know yet. Boom. All right, so this next 2 are going to be the exact same. I think you'll be able to complete everything we've done based on what we've talked about today so far. When you get to this second part of the sheet here, it's the same exact thing. So look at this, right in function form. Don't worry about that. You can do y equals mxb, whatever you want to do. But the standard form here is in standard form. You can create your y values here. So look at here. Anything on this, your x values, anything on this x line, you can use as an x value. So if you want to put in x is negative 4, negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, and 0, knock yourself out. You put into x values, use this equation here to find your y answers, then plot those. When you get to horizontal and vertical lines, I will be doing a separate video on that, so check out that video very soon. All right, that's it for me. Enjoy the rest of your day. Work hard, and as always, email, comment if you have any questions or want to check your answers to the work.